The Not-So-Buried Treasure, the Berenstain Bears, by Stan and Jan Berenstain. The Bear Country supermarket was crowded one afternoon as the Bear family waited in line to pay for their groceries. Papa Bear was looking at the magazine rack and Mama was unloading the shopping cart. And Brother and Sister Bear were jumping up and down. "Yummy gummies, we want yummy gummies," Brother chanted, pointing to the candy display. "Mother, can't I get those Jacks?" Sister whined. "Please." Mama sighed. "You have plenty of Jacks at home," she said to Sister. "And it's almost dinner time," she said to Brother. "No candy." Mama chose a copy of the Tree Housekeeping from the magazine rack for herself, and then she noticed what Papa was holding. "$1,000,000 Ideas in Your Own Backyard." "What are you doing with that?" she asked. "It's a great magazine full of money-making ideas, big money-making ideas," Papa said, tossing the magazine onto the checkout counter. As they walked home, Papa couldn't stop reading his magazine. Mama shook her head. "I wish you'd stop talking about big money. It's a bad example for the cubs," she said to him. "Listen to this," said Papa excitedly. "Raise ladybugs for fun and profit. And this, The Secrets of Alchemy. Turn lead into gold. And here's the best one of all, Buried Treasure in Your Own Backyard. Now that's something I could go for." "Nobody's going to dig up my yard," said Mama. "I've worked too hard planting it." "Buried treasure?" Sister said eagerly. "Just like that pirate book you read to us at bedtime," Brother said. "Grizzly Island, you remember, by Robert Bruin Stevenson?" "Wow," said Sister. "Pirate treasure." "Yeah," said Brother. "Precious jewels, gold doubloons." Papa went right to Grizzly Island when they got home. "It says here that Long John Grizzly buried his treasure in Pirate's Cove," he said to the cubs. "And there's a Pirate's Cove here in Bear Country. It's just off Great Grizzly Lake." Brother and Sister's eyes grew wide. "I bet treasure's buried there," Brother whispered. "Let's dig for it," Sister begged. "The question is, exactly where do we dig?" The cubs and Papa were so excited by the thought of buried treasure that they didn't even hear the telephone ring. Mama went to answer it. "Papa is always letting his imagination run away with him," she said to herself, "and the cubs are becoming just like him. Something has to be done about it." Grizzly Gran was on the phone. Mama told her what was happening. "Could you bring over your crystal ball later this afternoon?" she asked Gran. "I've thought of a plan that just might help Papa and the cubs discover some treasure." Mama hung up the phone and went upstairs. When she came down, Papa and the cubs were still talking about buried treasure. "I'm going out to do some errands," she said to them. "Gran will be over in a while. Maybe she can help." When Gran arrived at the house later, Papa, Mama, and the cubs gathered around the crystal ball. Who knew Gran would just have a crystal ball? Then Gran began to wail. "Listen, Papa Bear, and you shall hear, great, great wealth is very near." Brother and Sister couldn't help shivering. "That still doesn't tell me where to dig," Papa said. Said Mama. "You know, I seem to remember there's an old map in our attic. Maybe that could help you." She winked at Gran, who winked back. Can you wink? But Papa and Brother and Sister didn't see the winks. They were too busy rushing upstairs to the attic. They rummaged through boxes, and soon Papa held up a piece of paper. "Look, a map of Pirate's Cove. It says here to dig by the light of the moon," he said. "And that X is where the treasure is buried," Sister squealed. "The map doesn't look very old," Brother said. "The paper isn't yellowed at all." "What do you think, Papa?" asked Sister. "I think we're onto something," Papa said. "We'll check this out tonight." That night, the Bear family and Grizzly Gran went out to Pirate's Cove. By the light from Mama's lantern, they read and followed the instructions on the map. 10 paces past the crooked tree, keeping the moon at their backs. 10 paces to the left, walk down a little hill, step 13 feet to the right. "This must be the spot," Papa said. He and the cubs began to dig while Mama and Grizzly Gran looked on. Papa sang a little song while he worked. There's nothing more lovely than a gold doubloon dug from the earth by the light of the moon. I've hit something, brother cried. He and sister lifted up a little chest from the hole in the ground. It's a pirate treasure, said sister. Open it, brother said. Papa smiled broadly. I knew that map would lead us to riches, he said. He undid the clasps and slowly pushed back the lid. And there, instead of jewels and gold doubloons, was a stack of photographs. There were pictures of brother and sister and Mama and the whole Bear family standing in front of their lovely treehouse. That's not the treasure, sister said. Papa looked at Mama. Oh, but it is, he said, misty-eyed. It isn't what I expected to find. But when you think about it, family and home are the most valuable treasures a bear could have. And they were never, ever buried in the first place. I'm glad my little plan worked, Mama said gently. Papa and the cubs gave Mama a big hug, and then Gran spoke up. You can't compare the treasure beneath the land or sea with the not-so-buried treasure of home and family. So when I was a little girl, Aunt Beth and I decided that we would bury some treasure. And my dad had some silver, I guess they were doubloons, from pirate treasure somebody had found off of a shipwreck off the beach in Florida. And back in the day, Band-Aids used to come in a metal box. So we filled up a Band-Aid box, this metal box, with pirate treasure, and we buried it in the backyard. And we forgot about it. And then my mom and dad went to look for the silver, whatever they were, to show somebody, and they weren't there. And we said, oh yeah, we buried them in the backyard. Anyway, we never found them, and my parents put a back porch on the house, so I suspect there is a Band-Aid box full of silver coins from a Spanish shipwreck buried somewhere under that house in Titusville. Weird, huh? Anyway, they weren't too mad. It was kind of funny. All right, love you guys.